Just learned something that sometimes I have to turn my audio on, and it took a while to find how to do that. This commentary is for the service for January 10th, 2020. I neglected to introduce an Epiphany in the online service. Church seasons probably started with Lent, a time when people wishing to join the church would study for acceptance for baptism, which came to be celebrated on Easter Sunday. The name of the document that they studied at first was the Didache. Later, this evolved into the whole year being divided into seasons, beginning with Advent, then Christmas, Epiphany, Lent, Easter, and Creation, with Creation being the time between Pentecost and Christ the King Sunday, which we call Reign of Christ Sunday. Epiphany means uncovering or revealing or making visible, and celebrates revealing aspects of Jesus. Liturgists added preferred colors for the seasons, and the preferred colors for Epiphany are white, symbolizing light, or green, as it is also considered part of the season of creation. I wore a purple shirt for the recordings as it was my new shirt and as a new year. The banner in front of the lectern was white, but not visible in the video recordings. I chose to use Epiphany to focus on revealing aspects of holiness, or the sacred in our daily lives. Traditionally, the baptism of Jesus emphasizes the revelation he was the Son of God and pleased God. I focused on his choice to accept baptism by John, a decision that included him in the community of people influenced by John, people seeking something new, seeking to be right with God. His acceptance of baptism was a sacred decision, revealing his holiness. Now, there is little point to anything being visible if we're not aware of it. So one of my goals is to encourage listeners and readers to be more aware of things and actions in the world around them. For millions of years, our ancestors needed to be conservative much of the time in their use of energy. They never know when they had enough food. We tend to also be conservative in our use of energy. We like to sit closest to the door, whether it is a bus, a church, or a classroom. We need to deliberately decide to use energy when it's not obviously necessary. This is why I'm deliberately asking you to decide to use extra energy to be more aware in your lives, to make an extra effort to notice things from the clouds in the sky to the expressions on people's faces and the tones in their voices. Be aware of the decisions you make without thinking about them each day, the paths you're following, and so on. I started the service with an exercise which blended my Irish roots with an indigenous practice. Looking to the east observes the European influences on us, influences that tend to the intellectual expressed in codified laws, technology, philosophy, and other forms of information or data. Those influences have provided many positives for which we'd be grateful. We can send feelings of gratitude eastward with requests for more intellectual learning. When we look to the west, we observe East and South Asia, from which we draw a focus on spirituality and accumulated wisdom, which we can be grateful and towards which we can request the means to deepen our spirituality and wisdom. When we look to the north, we observe a landscape that seems sparse, open, and pure, with opportunities to find wholeness and identity, expressing gratitude for that wholeness, and requesting willingness to make space in our lives for strengthening that wholeness. When we look to the global south, we observe the importance of family and community, of networks of relationships which protect and sustain. Express gratitude for reminders that being fully human happens in community, not in the acquisition of things, and request reminders of human priorities. When we look up, we see the unimaginable abundance and scale of creation and offer back our willingness to discover, to explore, to learn. When we look down, we see the earth which gives us life and resources, grounds us in creation, and we offer back our desire to care for that creation. In the service, I neglected to look back and around, remembering the indigenous people whose lands our ancestors invaded, people for whom relationships mattered more than anything else. We offer our sincere apologies for the failures of our ancestors and relationships with them. Acknowledge the land where Deep River Community Church sits was never ceded, but was confiscated. And offer back our readiness to work for healing in relationships with them and all of our other relationships. We look within ourselves and see our essential humanity. With gratitude for sharing that humanity with Jesus the Christ, we offer back our desire to offer better care to our humanity and the humanity of others. And I say all this recognizing that everything that I focused on in a particular direction, each of those elements is found in the other directions as well. But there's particular qualities that we associate in our culture with those different cultures. As for reading today from the Gospel of Mark, it is a simple story with complex consequences. There's evidence in a variety of documents that one of the challenges of the early community followers after Jesus died was establishing his superiority to John the Baptizer. Like Jesus, John was also killed for his faith and his teachings. He was killed by Herod. And in spite of that, his community of followers persisted as a community after his death. And they still exist in the Middle East. Mark's telling focused on the action of baptism and the result for Jesus. We're not sure if just Jesus heard the voice from heaven or if everyone heard it. His baptism marked the dividing line between whatever life he had before it and his mission which followed it. In the same way, our baptisms are to mark a change point in our lives, an event which is less dramatic for an infant than for someone old enough to make that choice. In the modern church, we compensate for infant baptism with confirmation, an act which we willingly choose for ourselves after a period of preparation. Unfortunately, it became seen as graduation from Sunday school instead of acceptance of responsibility as a member of the church, of a significant change in our lives, of marking it before and after. When Jesus chose to seek baptism by John, that decision and action revealed his holiness. We make many decisions of accepting a call or invitation or action for improving relationships in the world, and those decisions and those actions reveal our holiness. When we choose to volunteer for any agency dedicated to improving the lives for other people, we reveal our holiness. When we choose to create music, paintings, sculptures, drama, or dance that contribute to adding to the beauty in the world, or advocate or celebrate other people's gifts, we reveal holiness. When we feel tired or concerned about issues in our lives, but take time out to phone someone, write a card or letter, or offer food or another gift to someone we know is hurting or challenged, we reveal our holiness. When we speak up or out against expressions of hatred or abuse, those are sacred acts. For me, the simplest test of holiness is this. Does this act serve to heal or bless relationships in ways consistent with our belief that the Holy Mystery loves all of creation and every person in it? A member of our worship committee observed that the nature of our online services is that they're primarily performances. I seek ways to move from performance to engagement. This commentary is on YouTube with links on our website and Facebook page, and I'll add to a thread on Wonder Cafe too, under worship in the spiritual life cluster of forums. The link to Wonder Cafe 2 is available on our website under links. I appreciate comments and invitations to discussions or requests for Zoom and other interactive tools. And I invite you to consider these following questions. Beginning with maybe the big one. How do you respond to what I say about what is holiness? How would you see it differently? What do you like or object to the things I've said? When it comes to the baptism of Jesus, who heard the voice from heaven? Was there a voice from heaven? Was there really a dove and a spirit coming down that Jesus saw? What did that mean? Right after the reading of baptism, Jesus is driven by the Spirit out into the wilderness. And there's implication of possession in that. Now, Jesus' ministry included driving spirits that are possessing other people out of them. Was he possessed or not? And I elaborate more on that in the service of my message. What does it mean to be a follower of Jesus? Where do we look for holiness in our lives? Where do we see it in the lives of others? Where do we see it in the media, in the community? Where would we like to see it? And I really would encourage you to uh, take time to respond to these questions and to this commentary and to the service. There's possibilities of leaving comments on Facebook. I believe there's possibilities of leaving comment on YouTube. And you can always reply to me through my email address, drccminister@gmail.com. I do look forward to comments and invitations. If you'd like to have a Zoom discussion about this, let me know and I can set it up. I do wish you all the best. May you be well blessed each and every day, and may your holiness shine bright in the lives of those who know you. Amen.